Hi and welcome. This episode is a practice episode. We combine together the TODO application with what we have been learned, the API and the middlewares. Let's just crack on. Okay, let's see what we have done with the TODO application, because it's been a while since we worked on this. Quick recap: the application can start with Golang, but it will fail. It will fail because it requires a variable called storage. And if we look at the internal further app factory, we have a factory where we say storage can be memory, file, or DB, and we're using the same interface, and we can store the TODO in memory, file, or persist in the database. So let's select the database with export and storage equals db, go run, and our TODO application is running. If I say list, nothing happening because we don't have TODO. Add TODO 1, add TODO 2, list, and I can list all the TODOs. Yeah, how we have done it. So we have the storage interface. The storage interface is implementing the data storage, and we have the database data storage, which adds to the database with inserts, the file storage, which uses the file management, what we have learned, and the memory just using a simple slice. Also, the app factory have another part, which is the front end, and we can say front end service run, and in the init we initiate the front end service here. Let's see, the front-end service is the command line, in which is the command line interpreter, which you have just seen here. Yeah, so this is how it worked. Let's look at the interface itself. Front-end service. Front-end service have to implement one function, which is run, and it will run the front-end service. We have to implement another instance of this front-end service with the HTTP handlers, what you've been learning, and you have an API from the command line TODO application. We have the knowledge for all the parts, so we just have to put it together. Therefore, I'm not going to code online. I've prepared the code, and I'm just present how simple is it. Because we are using interfaces and abstraction, I can extend this existing TODO application quite easily. I've created a branch which is called API, so git checkout API, and let's see the changes. I've switched to branch API, so I close it, and in the app factory, let's open this again. You will see that I modified the init function, and I factored out the front end to an init front end function, and I use the same structure what was used here. I'm getting the environment variable called frontend, and if it's CMD, it will use the command line interface. This is exactly the same as it was here in the init before, but if I use the API, I will use the new API. So what I had to do, which implement the frontend service with the function run. So that's the only what we need. It also gets the TODO storage, because I have to be able to save to the database file system or whatever I set up. I have the run function implemented. I just separate this so you can see it's better. I'm assigning a handler function. I'm just printing out if it's running on port 8080, then I start listen and serve. The TODO handler is just deciding between get and post request. If it's get request, then it takes me to the list TODO handler. It's simple. I already have the storage, so I just get a storage list, which gives me a string list. If there's an error, I just display the error on the screen and return with an internal server error and return. Then I will use the new encoder to encode the list to a JSON, and I will push the encoded value into the response writer. If it's erroring out, I'm just displaying on the screen the error and with an internal server error. And if it was not a get method but a post, then I need to populate this server struct, not the server struct, this to-do request struct. And the to-do request struct will have one property, to-do, with the JSON tag to-do. So let's go back. I go and define the to-do request struct with the new decoder. From the body, I will decode. Maybe put something here like differ air body close. Then using the to-do storage add, and I will just add the to-do which was marshaled into the to-do request, and I'm responding with an HTTP status expected. I also have one middleware which push the application JSON content type in the header. It is as simple as let's just try out. I've created a makefile so I don't have to do the exports manually. I have to export two things, the storage, which currently is DB, and the export can be frontend, CMD, this is the old version, and the export can be frontend API. Let's try the previous version if it still works. So make CMD. And if I say list, here I have the to-dos. Add to-do 3, list, and add that to-do 3. If I say quit, then it's gone. If I will run with a different environment variable called API, then I will say make API. It's spinning up the HTTP server on localhost 8080. I will use Postman. It's opening up. I have two requests, the get request. If I send a get request, I have the to-dos, to-do 1, 2, 3, and I have the post request, where in the body I have to-do, new to-do, and let's rename it like API to-do 1. If I send it, it will return with 202 accepted, and if I list it again, I have the new to-do. And let's try again. To-do 2, go back to the get, and I have to-do 2. So we just combined together our knowledge and our to-do application now also a command line and also an API. So that's it for this small recap. In the next episode, we will modify this application. As we already learned how middleware works, we will add an authentication authorization layer with middlewares to this API, so not everybody can access our API. See you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along. See you. Bye.